Hello. Yes, we welcome you back to PSSB with me, Richard, here. Yes, today we are looking at this question. It says 5 grams of commercial vinegar is dissolved in water and made up to a volume of 60 cubic centimeter. 25 of this solution is neutralized by 31.3 cubic centimeter of sodium hydroxide of concentration 0.12 moles per cubic decimeter. Okay. Now the question says, calculate the percentage of ethanoic acid in the commercial vinegar. Okay, we all know that within vinegar, one of the components is ethanoic acid or acetic acid, as some people call it. Okay, now we say 5 grams dissolved in water. The volume is given, and this side also we are given the concentration and the volume. This case becomes confusing to a number of learners, because they believe that when you have mass and volume, then you have the concentration, and we have also concentration this side. So the question is, what do you do? Okay, you need to know that vinegar is a mixture of which ethanoic acid is just one of the components. So vinegar is not purely ethanoic acid. There are other components as well. So we don't know how much ethanoic acid is there actually. And what does that mean? That we don't know how much vinegar we have in that volume. This means one thing, that our standard, because we need to look at the standard. The standard is that solution of known concentration. So our standard is sodium hydroxide. Locating it is very crucial in solving questions like this. So when you have the standard, what do? You go and check. What do you know about the standard? We know the concentration. What else do we know? We know the volume of the standard which is reacting. That one gives you what? The moles of the standard which reacted. So what are you going to say? Calculating number of moles of sodium hydroxide which reacted. So that is it. So this is what we are going to calculate. The number of moles of sodium hydroxide which reacted. So the question is, what do we know about sodium hydroxide? We know the concentration, which is 0.12 moles per cubic decimeter. Okay. What else do we know? We know the volume which reacted, which is 31.3 cubic centimeter. Converting it to cubic decimeter involves dividing it with 1000, giving you 0.0313 cubic decimeter. What are you calculating? Number of moles. So with this information, what do? You quote the formula. The formula is concentration equaling to number of moles over volume. And we know the concentration. What is our concentration? 0.12. And the number of moles are wanted, but we know the volume, which is 0.0313. So through cross multiplying, we know N. So number of moles is going to be 0.12 times what? 0.0313, giving you what? The number of moles which reacted. Yeah. So we know now the number of moles of our standard, of our sodium hydroxide which reacted. Now, the moment you reach this step, now you are going to link this one with the number of moles of the ethanoic acid which reacted. So what are you going to say? We are going to say calculating number of moles of ethanoic acid which reacted. You don't say calculating number of moles of vinegar because vinegar is a mixture. Inside the vinegar, it is only ethanoic acid which is reacting. So we are going to say calculating number of moles of ethanoic acid which is reacting. So that is it. Calculating the number of moles of ethanoic acid which reacted. So how do you do that? How do you deal with this situation? Okay, to link these moles of known to unknown, we use mole ratio. The question is that how do you get mole ratio? We got mole ratio through a well-balanced equation. So what do we have here? You have your ethanoic acid, which is going to be CH3COOH, okay, reacting with the sodium hydroxide, giving you what? Sodium ethanoate as our salt, plus what? Plus water. The equation is balanced. What does that mean? It means that our mole ratio is 1 to 1. So what do? We bring our moles. This number of moles are for sodium hydroxide. We put them here. They are 0.0035756. But because it's 1 to 1, it's the same number here. So it's going to be 0.0035756. And guess what? Now we know the number of moles of what? Of ethanoic acid which reacted. Okay? So what is the next step? Next step is to list everything you know about our ethanoic acid. Okay? What do we know? We know the number of moles of ethanoic acid which reacted, which is 0.003756 moles. Okay, what else do we know? We know the volume. Now here you have to be very careful. Here we use the volume which reacted, and the volume is known, which is what? 25 cubic centimeter. Converting it to cubic decimeter, you divide by 1,000, giving you 0.025 cubic decimeter. Okay? Then what do we get? We look for the concentration. So armed with this information, then we quote the formula. The formula says that concentration is equal to number of moles over volume. So what's the number of moles here? It's going to be 0.03756. What's the volume? 0.025. This one gives you the concentration in moles per cubic decimeter. So we have it now as 0.15024 moles per cubic decimeter. So this is the concentration of ethanoic acid. And I want you to remind you that the concentration is the same for both volumes, for 25 and for 60. Remember, it was 60 and they just took a fraction of it and they reacted it with sodium hydroxide. So what is common between these two volumes is concentration, and we have it. But we need the 60. Why do we need the 60? Because 60 is where the 5 grams was put. So what do? We proceed to the next step here. Okay. Here, what do? You quote the concentration. What is it? 0.15024. Okay. You quote the volume, which is what? 60 cubic centimeter. This one is 60 over 1000 if you want it in cubic decimeter. So answer is going to be what? 0.06 cubic decimeter. Okay? And what are we looking for? Now, if this one is quoted in mass, here you have to quote mass. So we are looking for mass. So with that, you quote the formula to find out what is other information you might miss. So the formula says C, you quote the formula which has concentration and mass. So C is equal to what? Mass over molar mass times volume. So this one shows that you are missing molar mass. So what do? You come here and say molar mass of what? Of ethanoic acid is, okay, let's get it. Carbon is 12. Okay. Hydrogen is 3. Okay. Carbon is 12. Oxygen is 16 times 2 plus 1. What you get here is going to be the molar mass. Yeah, so the molar mass is 60. So from here, what do? We substitute in this equation. We have your concentration, which is 0.15024. Okay, you're looking for mass, but what do you know? You know molar mass, which is 60. Okay, times volume, and the volume is 0.06. Okay, through cross multiplying, we can get M. What's your M going to be? 0.15024. Okay, times what? Times 60. Times what? 0.06. Giving you what? The mass of ethanoic acid. So we know the mass now. The mass of ethanoic acid is that 0.54 grams. Okay. So what do? The question says calculate the percentage of ethanoic acid. So here you have to know something, that percentage of ethanoic acid is equal to mass ethanoic acid over mass of vinegar times 100 times 100. So in substituting, what do we get here? Mass of ethanoic acid is known, and it is 0.54. Okay. Mass of vinegar is 5 times 100. What you get here is going to be the percentage of ethanoic acid in vinegar. Yeah, so we have it as 10.8%. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time. The channel is PSSB, Physical Sciences Silver Bullet, with me, Richard, here. We urge you to subscribe, to comment, to like, to share, and also to remind you that this channel, Physical Sciences Silver Bullet, is a YouTube science channel specializing in physical sciences grade 12, 11 and 10, and natural sciences grade 8 and 9. Yes, we urge you to make use of our enriched playlist. just go to playlist and choose the material which belongs to your level. For grade 8 and 9, just pick Natural Sciences grade 8 or Natural Sciences grade 9. For grade 11 and 10, click Physical Sciences grade 11 or Physical Sciences grade 10. For grade 12, every chapter is presented independently. So just go to the chapter of your choice and click. Then you'll have all the material which belongs to that chapter or that topic. With that, I would like to say thank you. Stay blessed. See you next time. Bye-bye.